The plane disaster killed Buddy Holly, and his widow Maria Elena made a stunning choice: not attending his funeral. For decades, she was considered too distraught. The truth was rather different. In 2024, Maria Elena revealed what happened that day. The horrible secret she confessed changed everything we knew. She didn't stay away for merely grief. It tormented her for 65 years and was darker. Baby Buddy Holly was born in Lubbock, Texas, on September 7, 1936. His name was Charles Hardin Holly. He arrived during the Great Depression, a horrific time in American history. Family was poor. Their little dwelling was uninsulated. When there was no water, they used a well. Larry, his father, took any job. Ella kept the family fed and clothed by stretching every dime. Despite hardships, their faith kept them going. Buddy was driven by those early hardships. He wanted more. Holly's home had one bright spot: music. Family evenings were spent playing. Mom played piano. Brothers performed guitar and banjo. Buddy participated however he could. Dad joked that someone should sit and listen. He did. The rough days were easier with family jam sessions. They brought joy to the house despite financial constraints. Buddy's nights prefigured his future. Buddy longed to perform like his big brothers at 5. He received a violin at a local talent event with a greased bow. Buddy played with a big smile, and the crowd liked it. A prize was his. That moment demonstrated his will. Seeing was his goal. Despite everything, he wanted to play music. Buddy changed with age. The church-going boy rebelled. By high school, he would slip out at night. His pals frequented cafes and roadhouses. Drinking was tried. Smoking was tried. Swore. Even chocolates and records were stolen. He was a polite young man by day and a crazy one by night. Double life began. The story of Buddy's first date was surprising. His friends organized it. They watched and coached him in a covert position. It wasn't love. Trying to prove himself. That night he broke his family's values. He really wanted to shed the good guy status. The turning point occurred. Buddy saw 2 Lubbock Elvis Presley concerts in 1955. Surprised by the first show. The second transformed him. Backstage, he met Elvis. Elvis invited Buddy to open his next show because of his spirit. Performing alongside Elvis taught Buddy rock and roll's power. He realized his desire. His life changed that night. Buddy later stated that Elvis is responsible. Buddy played country western before Elvis. He wanted to experiment after witnessing Elvis. He combined country and blues. He wanted his music to be wild. Rock audiences participated. Dancing and screaming. Buddy saw rock and roll beyond music. It moved. Buddy was renamed by fate after his 1956 Decca record deal. Holly Z was accidentally left off by a secretary. Buddy kept it instead of mending. The Buddy Holly sound fit. Easy to remember and straightforward. That minor error became famous worldwide. Even before stardom, Buddy was noticed. Lubbock TV featured him in 1952. His talent show performance demonstrated confidence beyond his years. He mixed gospel, country, and early rock. The spectators saw his charisma. He became a star after that TV moment. Buddy and friend Bob Montgomery created a duo in 1953. They were Buddy and Bob. Players played whenever possible. Clubs, radio, roller rinks, school dances. They were a West Texas favorite by 1954. Their country, bluegrass, and R&B repertoire was lively. Nashville scouts noticed. Buddy learned collaboration and crowd winning from Bob. Everything changed for Buddy Holly in October 1955. In Lubbock, Texas, he opened for Bill Haley and his Comets at 19. People came to see the band that made rock around the clock a hit. This throng contains someone who would transform Buddy's life. Marty Robbins' talent scout and manager Eddie Crandall spotted Buddy's raw electricity on stage. Unable to look away, Crandall watched Buddy again the next night. Buddy performed alongside Elvis Presley at KDAV. Crandall was expedient. He asked Grand Ole Opry manager Jim Denny to aid Buddy. Decca Records received Denny's Buddy demo. Buddy went from a local stage in October 1955 to a large contract in 4 months by February 1956. Lubbock's teen rose rapidly. Instead of a dream, it became a nightmare. Decca spelled his name Holly instead of Holly. Though tiny, it started Buddy losing control. Producer Owen Bradley didn't get rock and roll. Bradley urged Buddy to quit guitar. Nashville session musicians populated the studio. Buddy had to sing unnatural soft country pop songs. Trapped, Buddy. Elvis's raw voice was his childhood love. He was trapped recording bogus music. Studio tension rose. The noise bothered Buddy. Losing music control bothered him. Not simply songs. Buddy's identity. This hurt him terribly. Messy Nashville sessions. Decca called him Buddy Holly and the Three Tunes. There was no click. The label compelled him to utilize non-style matching musicians. Buddy's spontaneity was muted by Bradley's staging. In April 1956, Blue Days, Black Nights, with Love Me on the Flip, was the first single. Only 19,000 copies were sold. It flopped at the time. The following single, Modern Don Juan, performed worse. They borrowed a bass from the Opry to finish one session since things became worse. Then arrived the actual insult. July 1956, That'll Be the Day. Bradley was horrified. He wouldn't release. Buddy broke by year's end. Dream over. In January 1957, the ultimate blow. Decca left Buddy. His lack of talent was criticized. Paul Cohen, A&R head, called Buddy the worst musician he'd ever worked with. Worse happened. Buddy's parents' contract prevented him from recording Decca songs for 5 years. Buddy Holly was 20 and broke, embarrassed, and nearly done with music. But Buddy persisted. He returned to Lubbock. Restarted. Buddy Holly's band entered a magical location in Clovis, New Mexico. The Norman Petty studio was special. 4 kids musicians. Even New York and Los Angeles studios couldn't match its modern equipment. Petty bought high-end Macintosh tube gear, Altec microphones, and big Leslie speakers. The warm, clear Clovis sound came from this. People are still surprised by those recordings' tone. Why did the studio remain special after all these years? Petty believed in allowing artists express themselves. While most record companies demanded control, Petty allowed musicians flexibility. Because of that, Buddy Holly developed his own style. The studio is open today. Take a seat in Holly and the Crickets playback room with the exact instruments and gear that made rock and roll history. That'll Be the Day's start is startling. Buddy Holly and drummer Jerry Allison watched the 1956 Searches. John Wayne's character in that film said, "That'll be the day." This line stuck with them. Allison joked about writing a hit later. That simple moment moved Holly. Immediately, he began a song. 1956 was the first recording of the song. It was rejected by Decca Records. The new sound Holly made confused them. Holly attempted again in 1957. It was recorded in Clovis with Petty this time. A #1 hit, the new version. Western movie lines became rock and roll anthems that impacted music history. It was made feasible by another brilliant maneuver. Buddy couldn't re-record Decca songs for 5 years when his contract terminated in January 1957. However, Holly and the band believed their new take on That'll Be the Day would be successful. Crickets was their new band name. That name got them signed to Brunswick Records. Decca had Brunswick. Trick worked. Decca didn't realize they issued the music they rejected. A list of insects inspired the name. Inspired by the spiders, they liked the idea of their music chirping out. This clever approach freed them and revolutionized how artists fought for power. Norman Petty used an innovative label strategy. Buddy released two names records. Coral released his solo work, while Brunswick distributed Cricket's tunes. Decca owned both labels. More records could be released faster. Buddy Holly and the Crickets released new music weeks apart. The mystery and thrill increased. It also let songs reach different audiences. Their songs reached the top 47 times between August 1957 and 1958. Their names are associated with rock and roll. Buddy Holly had more fans and beat the competition thanks to Petty's scheme. In September 1957, everything changed. That'll Be the Day topped U.S. Billboard's charts on September 22. Additionally, it topped the UK singles chart. That made Buddy Holly and the Crickets stars on both sides of the water. The song reached number 2 on the R&B charts, a rarity for a white rock and roll band. Their music united people of all races. Cashbox magazine recognized them most promising vocal group by year's conclusion. Their albums played at the Apollo Theater in New York and the Royal in Baltimore, drawing all kinds of listeners. The music industry changed forever. August 1957 brought something bigger. On August 16, Buddy Holly and the Crickets became the first white band to perform at Harlem's Apollo Theater. Theater has long housed black artists. Crickets were accidentally booked by promoters. Their music made them sound like a black R&B band. People were astonished when Holly and his band appeared on stage. After a 6-night run, they won over everyone after initial boos. Loud cheers shook the Apollo walls. Music connects people and breaks down barriers. In August 1957 to August 1958, Buddy Holly and the Crickets had 7 top 40 hits. Will Be That Day. These songs made rock history: Peggy Sue, Oh Boy, Maybe Baby, Rave On, Listen to Me. This was when songs had a difficult time climbing the charts. Buddy completed everything before 23. His quick achievement shows his talent and hard effort. His melodies influenced musicians who are still venerated. Buddy Holly became more popular after appearing on Ed Sullivan. His December 1, 1957 performances were That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue. Millions tuned in. His clean appearance and horn-rimmed glasses appealed to youngsters. He appeared again in January 1958. 2 performances helped his records climb the charts. Young British musicians were also influenced by them. The Beatles were inspired by Holly on TV. Their Ed Sullivan performance 6 years later followed his lead. Buddy Holly started a world-changing music wave in 2 shows. Petty was meant to mentor Buddy Holly. He was completely different behind the scenes. The band was advised to carry and read Bibles. Keeping moral on the road was his message. He also kept the band's royalties. Their money was in his accounts. Buddy married Maria Elena Santiago clarified things. Petty held their royalties for months, according to her aunt, a music business worker. Petty controlled more than money. His goal was to influence their brains. His actions ruined the band's trust and friendships. There was more. Buddy's publishing rights were stolen by Petty. Norva Jack Music was his company. Buddy relinquished I Know I'll Have the Blues Again on May 28, 1958. From 1956 until 1958, all his songs included it. Petty signed tracks he neither wrote nor arranged. Petty made more from Buddy's tunes than Buddy. Millions of records sold. Buddy barely saw that money. Buddy struggled, but Petty prospered because to him. Buddy had major issues by late 1958. The manipulations of Petty broke him. Petty held all royalty funds in his accounts. Buddy discovered its wretchedness in New York. His money was with Petty, and the legal issue prevented payment. Promoter Manny Greenfield sued Buddy. Court froze Buddy's royalties. Buddy was broke and had bills to pay. He survived by going on the Hard Winter Dance Party tour in early 1959. After Buddy's death, his family fought Petty for decades. Not only did Petty take Buddy's money, the band disbanded too. Turned Jerry Allison and Joe Malden against Buddy. They supported Petty after Buddy went for New York. End of Crickets. The band, friends, and team that made Buddy famous were gone. Petty managed Cricket's careers. He left Buddy solo. Buddy lacked hope by early 1959. His judicial case against Petty was ready. Petty wouldn't release his funds, so he couldn't afford lawyers. Buddy joined the Winter Dance Party tour. Very poor circumstances. Buses were cool. Schedules were exhausting. The February 3, 1959 crash followed. Buddy died fighting the law. His family fought for years. Rock's best talent died broken. Betrayal, not failure. Not all of Buddy's life was loss. He entered Peer Music in New York on June 19, 1958. He met Maria Elena Santiago. She was 25, he 21. Buddy instantly liked her. Same day, he asked her out. He required her aunt's approval. Did he? They chatted for 5 hours. After the night, Buddy proposed with a rose. Miss Maria Elena agreed. They Wednesday, August 15, 1958. The industry was surprised by its speed. Legendary love story. Some weren't happy. Petty anticipated Buddy's disgrace from the marriage. Maria Elena was instructed to impersonate the Cricket secretary. Buddy's dad was shocked. Many Labakians rejected Maria Elena. Catholic and Puerto Rican. She became an outsider. Buddy wasn't concerned. By her side. For love, he defied everyone. Buddy acted boldly after the wedding. He left Petty and insects. Maria Elena and he moved to Greenwich Village. New beginning. Starting self-writing and recording. New noises were tested. Creative freedom was his goal. In that brief time, he wrote his most personal songs. On his final tour, Buddy Holly didn't seek glory. It was his only option. Holly found much of his money was locked up after leaving Norman Petty, his manager. Holly went destitute because Petty kept the money. Maria Elena, Holly's pregnant wife, made things worse. Bills were mounting after moving to NYC. Holly needed money to support his family. He consented to the rigorous 24-show Winter Dance Party tour in 24 days. Across freezing Midwest. It was his only option for quick cash. He abandoned Maria Elena, haunting her eternally. Money was promised, but the tour was exhausting in Chile. 1959 was one of the worst Midwest winters. The tour began in Milwaukee at -17 degrees. The snow was 13-inch deep. It only rose above zero at night. In some spots, it was -36 degrees. This weather was new to most musicians. Drummer Carl Bunch was hospitalized with frostbite after the bus broke down at night. Group sickness persisted. Night after night, they performed weary and cold without rest. They had bad buses. They got decrepit school buses that broke down frequently instead of tour buses. The heaters often broke down. To warm up, the musicians burnt newspapers in the bus. Their 5 buses were all poor. Carl Bunch couldn't continue due to frostbite. In his place, others filled in. Every excursion got risky, pushing them. Tour scheduling was absurd. Routes zigzagged over the Midwest. The night after playing St. Paul on January 28, they drove over 300 miles to Davenport. North to Duluth, then Green Bay. Drivers went over 400 miles. 0 days off. Musicians loaded and unloaded their own gear. The cold, distance, and damaged buses made the tour miserable. A historian nicknamed it the Hell Tour. Booking agents seemed to have arranged stops by tossing darts at a map. Holly assembled a new tour band. Bassist Waylon Jennings. Alsop played guitar. The drummer was Carl Bunch. Before leaving, they scarcely practiced. Despite exhaustion from the tour, they gave their all every night. Bunt's hospitalization forced the others to take drum turns. This crash ended the trip and forever linked these identities. It started a long and successful career for Jennings, but it cost him dearly. At the Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa, the band played their farewell gig on February 2, 1959. Angered by the cold and damaged buses, Holly chartered a jet. He wanted to rest and do laundry in Moorhead, Minnesota before the bus. 3 people with the pilot fit in the little Beechcraft Bonanza. The singer requested a seat from Waylon Jennings due to illness. The Jennings agreed. A lifelong mistake. Left seat Tommy Alsop and Richie Valens flipped a coin. Winner Valens called heads. "I've never won anything in my life," he said, unaware it would be his last. Young pilot Roger Peterson was 21. He flew 711 times, 128 in a Bonanza. He had failed his instrument check ride 9 months ago and wasn't certified to fly instruments alone. Peterson wasn't used to the Bonanza's attitude indicator. This dark, snowy night, Peterson probably felt he was climbing when he was diving rapidly. The plane descended 3,000 feet/minute. He didn't realize his situation until it was too late. This plane took off at 12:55 a.m. February 3, 1959. Radar lost it in minutes. 5 miles northwest of Clear Lake, it crashed in a frozen cornfield. At 170 Montserrat Mape, the plane crashed nose down, embedding its right wingtip. Wreckage fell 540 feet before hitting a barrier. The impact killed all 4 men. Not until 9 a.m. was the crash site found. Besides the wind, the field was quiet with snow on the litter. Autopsies revealed the crash's violence. Buddy Holly had a midline forehead split. He lacked half his brain. Cracked chest, arms, legs, face, and scrotum. His body needed fingerprints. The Big Bopper's body was flung far from the wreck, resulting in stories of survival. His injuries revealed differently. Sudden, terrible, and tragic loss. The music industry changed forever. On February 3, 1959, Maria Elena Holly's world collapsed. Her marriage to Buddy Holly lasted 6 months. With their first kid, she was 2 weeks pregnant. Even though the morning started normally, the news changed everything. No family member or police told her. A TV breaking news report did it. Her body could not handle the jolt. She lost her baby in 24 hours. She lost her husband and unborn kid in one awful moment. She then described her heartbreak. Herself, she blamed. She was ill when Buddy left. She pleaded for his stay. She believed he would never have boarded the plane if she had gone with him. The pain in her words revealed her guilt. Her death showed how public grief can destroy private lives. Real shift occurred in news sharing. How the news reached families added to the horror. The same happened to Buddy's mother. Lubbock, Texas, radio played it. She slumped screaming. The world learned of such personal loss before the families did, which upset people. Media were slammed. It had to alter. So did. Nationwide news agencies made a change. The deceased were not named until their relatives were informed. This tragedy formed a rule that is still followed. It highlighted that reporting must prioritize kindness and care. This guideline affected how newspapers and TV covered devastating news. Buddy's funeral was too much for Maria Elena, who was broken. It happened February 7, 1959. Lubbock Tabernacle Baptist Church. A doctor ordered her to stay in NYC. Her grief and worry made her too weak to travel. No one said goodbye at his tomb. She didn't visit his grave. She carried guilt. She repeatedly claimed that if she had been with him, the crash might not have occurred. His family, friends, and admirers mourned. The empty place where his young wife should have stood indicated how profound the anguish was. Missing her expressed more than words. 2 months after the tragedy, a farmer unearthed something that may trigger decades of rumors. The pistol was .22. Buddy Holly had the gun. Discovery sparked crazy ideas. Some thought Roger Peterson, the pilot, was shot. Others thought the jet crashed due to a fight on board. Whispers persisted. Big Bopper Richardson's body was exhumed in 2007. Top anthropologist Dr. Bill Bass headed the investigation. Bullets and foul play were absent. The crash killed Richardson. The gun was still a symbol of evil. Remembering that certain questions from that tragic night may never be answered.